And thus starts the next set of episodes involving Seto Kaiba, his board of directors, and a virtual video game. And all this does is set up the first half of Season 3 that had no reason to exist in the first place. Honestly, I'm starting this video off with 30 sins, because this was one of the most random and unnecessary set of episodes in the season. Also, don't tell me the point of this was for Yugi to have a great moment with Kaiba to set up the Battle City tournament, because that was already declared when Kaiba challenged him for a future duel.
I suggest you leave now before I really lose my temper.
Seto Kaiba could honestly intimidate the devil himself, and you cannot change my mind on that, the way he speaks.
The sole reason we formed this so-called partnership was to rescue you.
You want to know the worst part about this? Kaiba actually believes this crap! He went from threatening to take their jobs and even their lives to, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were on a secret rescue mission, you're forgiven," in less than 30 seconds. Fuck it. Another 30 cents because this could have been badass and now it's ruined.
My virtual adventure game is ready to be tested.
You're gonna just take the word from the board who literally plotted against you and your brother, instead of running some sort of diagnostics or speaking with a tech crew about this? Just gonna jump on the pod like that? Holy shit, Kaiba's character development just got shattered within seconds. So to play this virtual adventure game, you had to be sitting in a giant pod, completely strapped in so your mind can be transferred into the game itself. How does Kaiba intend to sell this game to the public if it requires this giant equipment? Discount Super Mario Bros.
I summon the blue eyes.
So in this virtual world, does the card you draw depend on which one you want it to be? Or was that just luck on Kaiba's part that the Blue Eyes White Dragon just so happened to be the top card in his deck?
Someone must have reprogrammed the game.
Actually, putting in a dragon capture jar would be the logical move to put in the game. Otherwise, this is turning into the easiest video game ever created.
Big brother!
So, opening the pod and shutting off the game doesn't retransfer Kaiba's mind back into his body. Obviously, I'm not a game expert when it comes to mind transfers, but since the game is no longer in progress, either Kaiba's mind should be back in his body, or he doesn't see or remember anything until it starts back up again.
Your brother's obsession with technology.
The Big Five are speaking as if they're literally in the room with Mokuba, but they still haven't left their board office yet. Mokuba steals Seto's dueling deck, which has me wondering how this would have worked out when the game becomes available for the public. Imagine someone is dueling, and then their deck virtually disappears as a result of someone in the real world taking it away. Mokuba didn't put Seto's deck in his pocket? Dude, it's raining outside, you're gonna cause the paper to get worn out.
The only way Kaiba can escape is by winning the game?
How would Mokuba know that? Johnson said that while Mokuba was literally running away far from the building, and when the PA system wasn't turned on either. Far as Mokuba knows, the Big Five have trapped Seto in the game, and that's it. He wouldn't know anything about the solution to the problem because it wasn't known until it happened.
Wait up! You guys don't even know the way!
Big giant building in the distance that towers over everything else in the city. I'm pretty sure that's the direction we need to go.
Just when I think I can't be any prouder of those 4 kids.
Ah, 4 kids. Get it?
I guess someone's staying here.
And I say you.
Considering you and Taya are the ones without real dueling experience, it's pretty obvious who should stay behind.
I'm glad I've got my dueling deck with me.
Since you are now the king of games, I think you're bound by law to carry your deck everywhere you go on the very case you run into a random idiot who wants to duel.
I summon the Rude Kaiser!
Mokuba declares the Rude Kaiser to be summoned when he didn't even look at the top card of his deck. So is my theory correct on how the card drawn works here when your mind determines what it is?
What is going on here?
Joey somehow doesn't remember that he dealt with this exact same situation when he faced Bones back in Duelist Kingdom.
It must be part of some kind of scoring system.
Poor Joey. Yugi and Mokuba each got 5 points on their scoring system, but he is shit out of luck, as per usual. I can't be the only one who actually wanted to see the interaction between Joey and the meditating monks, right? Did they convince him to join in on the meditation in order to find Seto Kaiba? I also want to see how Yugi became a discount Michael Cole when he was captured by Heidenreich, or is that asking a little too much?
This virtual sand, it tastes just like real sand.
Put Anakin Skywalker into this game and we'd see the switch into Darth Vader a lot quicker than Revenge of the Sith gave us.
I once saw Joey play a video game for 3 days straight without blinking.
Joey playing a video game for 3 days straight without blinking is not as impressive as Tristan being able to watch that happen for the same amount of time, if I'm being honest.
Looks to me like we've got some company.
And they somehow can't see us despite walking in our exact direction. My Valentine has only been in this game for a short while, yet those inside the game had enough time to find her, make her the champion of this Gladiator-like competition, and make a poster hyping up future competitions with her as the star. These games work fast.
I'm not letting you risk all your life points for this.
Correction, you know that Yugi wearing that pig helmet would cause his spiky hair to get deformed in a way that would change the anime life forever. That and the outfit is obviously too big for Yugi to wear and is the perfect size for Joey.
Hope you duel better than you smell, you swine.
The only thing covering Mai's face is the butterfly mask, but she looks exactly the same and her voice sounds exactly the same. And it still hasn't registered to Joey that this is Mai Valentine? He's the one who's attracted to her throughout the series as well.
Prize con! Flame Swordsman!
The fusion monster version, after I had already summoned the normal monster version in the prior episode.
Pigs don't know about trap cards.
That and the fact that the Harpy Lady is resistant to all non-flying monsters, which is something this show has already forgotten, but I haven't.
By the time to get around this, we'll be across the desert!
Actually, it will only take them a maximum of 3 seconds to go around the trap hole. Should have said something along the lines of, this won't stop them for very long, so let's hurry up.
We're never gonna get past that!
Except we literally will in about 10 seconds.
It's alright. Remember that this is all a game.
Yeah, but it's also a reprogrammed game that could very well kill us legitimately, so that it's just a game speech doesn't technically work for this situation.
We're boxed in!
The Labyrinth tanks chase after the gang full speed ahead, but once they're literally within stabbing distance, they suddenly stop in their tracks to allow someone to pull something out their ass. For a reprogrammed game, the Big Five absolutely sucks at ensuring the deaths of the characters. You mean to tell me those tanks could have just fired upon them in the last 10 seconds, or when they were running away from the tanks Prometheus style? What do you bet Mokuba had been begging Seto to put him in this video game in any way possible, and knowing his older brother to the point where Seto said fuck it and created a female Mokuba, as a way of saying Mokuba was whining like a little girl forever.
I see the end of the maze!
And it was literally just ahead of us the whole time too. How does the princess get lost in a situation like that?
He could crush us in one attack!
It doesn't register to Yugi and Joey to immediately bring out the Black Skull Dragon as they use that against the Gate Guardian back in Duelist Kingdom. Instead, they are accepting immediate defeat. Sure, they do it after the commercial break, but one would think that'd be the first thing on their mind. Also, if you're about to tell me that their monsters cannot be used because of the graveyard, the Flame Swordsman got destroyed and brought out later on. And even then, they're using those dueling gauntlets from the spinning top duel disc system, so there are no graveyards here. Well, somebody got inspired by the death of Christ.
Your code's been rewritten, and now all your silly safety precautions are—
The entire existence of the Witty Phantom being a discount joker during this entire sequence. And also, how would he know about the override codes to a video game when he's a digital creation of the game itself, thus an NPC?
Princess Adina.
Princess?
Adina had to literally state that she was the princess of this castle for you to figure it out? The dress, the crown, and the escort to the castle didn't tip you guys out that she is of royalty here? The painting shows what looks to be a bird, and we're calling that thing a flying machine? It turns out it was a flying boat, but they couldn't have created it, especially since they know of this flying machine basing an entire legend off it.
You think we're the epic heroes?
Yep, since you are the ones here right now, and if this game possibly becomes available to the public, the same will be said about the next group of heroes that step in.
Silly, I think you look just great.
And for some reason, you've become much smaller than you usually are. Last we saw Yugi, he wasn't that short compared to Mai.
I've got a real bad feeling about this.
Wrong franchise, Yugi. In this shot, we can easily tell that the princess is actually Mokuba given the eye difference and the facial demeanor. But what I find hilarious is Mokuba having to get his ears pierced just to blend in as the princess.
Alright!
Joey celebrates freeing Mokuba from the armed ninja, but he should consider himself thankful that a nearby dragon swiped Mokuba away. Otherwise, he was going to fall to his death. Well done, Joey. You prevented the offering, but you killed the princess in the process.
It must be a fossil. How can we ever restore it?
Since every duel monster works as the cards describe them, figure it out, Joey. You literally turn back time in every duel you compete in.
And what card can turn back the clock, Joey? Huh.
The one that just so happens to be the top card in my deck, out of all the crazy luck we've gotten in this weird game.
If the hands land on skulls, it'll take our life points.
Well, because you mentioned that worry, the Time Wizard will not even bother to spin around with the roulette wheel, so we're good here.
Joey, I think it's working.
This number count going backwards to 1,000 is nonsensical because of how many times the 10s did a full rotation without going to the next 100. Adina went from warning everyone that Mokuba switched clothes with her to, now if you'll excuse me, I need to quickly change back into another dress within minutes. Or did the time magic cause her to go from Mokuba's outfit to her own again?
And what appears to be a swarm of ferocious...
Joey is trying to warn Yugi and Mai that the monsters are coming back for another attack, but chooses to play it off as an airline pilot for a joke. We're flying in the sky on a death-defying mission. This is not the time for jokes, asshole. Iru goes on this mission just to die less than a minute later. Bet she regrets leaving the princess she's been with for years just to hang out with people she only knew for a few hours.
I've had enough!
No. This is a virtual video game where only their minds went into the game. This is not the real Millennium Puzzle around Yugi's neck, so unless Yugi suddenly transformed into the Pharaoh back in the gaming pod, this shouldn't be possible. Sure, two minds inhabit Yugi's body, but his body itself did not go into the game. Also, Yugi quits and lets the Pharaoh take control of this game simply because he watched a little fairy die. What a pussy.
Seto!
Mokuba removes the princess outfit, which also removes the crown, and for some reason it removed the earrings he wore. And also, how is he wearing his knight's armor underneath that dress when he clearly told Adina to wear it?
Mokuba, what are you doing here?
And why the fuck were you wearing a dress? We talked about this before. I only put you in a dress to convince the orphanage that I had a poor little sister. This was never to become a thing for you.
You know how I feel about Yugi Moto.
Well, you kinda owe him because he's the reason we even have functioning souls right now. And besides, I thought you two were on good terms after the last time you encountered outside the castle.
It's time we terminate this rescue mission.
You're only now thinking of terminating this rescue mission? How long have you assholes been watching this?
You, not us.
If there's anything I like about this filler set of episodes, it's the final battle taking place on a digital platform instead of a cavern. Who would have thought the reprogrammed final boss battle setting would be much better than the original?
You dare challenge me to a battle of dragons?
Seto fucking Kaiba. Don't fuck with him when it comes to dragons and duel monsters.
Your mythic dragon will not stand against all we have said.
Because you said that, I think it's safe to assume that the mythic dragon will easily stand against your entire force.
There's one creature that can beat it.
The Pharaoh somehow knows of the Dragon Master Knight despite not knowing about the existence of the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon until his duel with Kaiba on the roof.
The power of my Dark Knight!
Don't you mean Fierce Knight, since the monster you are sacrificing is Gaia the Fierce Knight?
The team. No way. You don't even know what you're doing.
With all due respect, you don't know what you're doing either, so we're both in the same boat here. I'm shocked even Mokuba is not telling Seto to team up with the Pharaoh. Also, the Big Five is just watching this whole thing unfold when they can just attack everything and everyone right here and now. They lose because of their own stupidity, just like every other villain in the franchise.
According to legend, when heroes are united, they will create...
Don't care. Mythical Dragon, attack right now! That is somehow impossible for the Big Five to say as they let the Pharaoh recite the speech. I bet even Kaiba is annoyed by it too.
Those dragons were sent to the graveyard.
Oh, so there is a graveyard? Did it only just now start to exist? Whatever, I have too much of a headache to try and combat this.
In the memory of Joey, my Mokuba.
But not that fairy who briefly joined us. Fuck that fairy. So these five digitized themselves to become the mythic dragon, and the result of this is them getting trapped in cyberspace. Well, at least we won't have to worry about these idiots ever again.
But don't think it means we'll be partnering up in true reality.
Be careful what you say, Kaiba. This show still has another 4 seasons to go, so let's see if your word holds up.
Now where's the John? I had like 7 sodas.
Ending this waste of time arc with toilet humor. Well, at least this season is over now, right? Right?